United States of America, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy.
Here.
Councilman Warehime.
Here.
Councilman Creighton.
Here.
And Councilwoman Noack.
Under correspondence, we have a parade walk permit event, second reading. First readings on all the others. Hart Park School District 5K Run, American Legion Post Memorial Day Parade, Wood Park Primary School Fitness Walk, Smithtown Kickers Road Race, Comac Coalition for Caring, and the Sergeant John Cook VFW Post Memorial Day Parade. And also on file for your perusal is the Building Department report for February 2014. We have an advertisement for public hearing. Town Board to authorize the clerk to advertise for public hearing to be held at the Senior Center to consider a special exception petition as submitted by Prospect Sports Partners for a special exception for commercial public recreation use so as to construct and operate a commercial public recreation use with indoor and outdoor sports fields and facilities, medical offices, retail, restaurant, concession, and pool on property located on the north side of Old Northport Road.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town Board to authorize the clerk to advertise for public hearing to be held at Town Hall. To consider a proposed amendment to Chapter 281 of the Code entitled Town Trucks, Tow Trucks.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Town Board authorized the clerk to advertise for the following bids. A bid for biometric hand geometry terminals to be returned on April 10th. Passenger bus on April 10th.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town Board to award the following bids. A bid for concrete curbs and sidewalks to Jayco Construction. A bid for crack and joint sealing material on various town roads to Bimasco. A bid for steel stock to Erin of Long Island and Sim Steel Corporation. And a bid for a sailboat for Recreation Department sailing lessons as per the bid open March 13th.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 3, the town board to approve the following as for 3A, minutes approval. 1, minutes of February 27, 2014. Town clerk to issue a parade run walk. Town clerk to issue a parade run walk permit for Elwood Comac VFW. Extension of agreement for professional services. The office of the town attorney to Lisa Copier, Deputy Director McPadden, and other officials to attend Police Academy, Bergen County. F, rescission of resolution 2014-175. G, retain the services of John S. Gross Realty. H, issuance of home rule request to support Assembly Bill number 8999 and Senate Bill number S-6705 entitled an act extending the time within certain elected officials may file their oaths of office, and further authorize the supervisors to execute any documents related to such home rule requests in a form approved by the town attorney. I continued services of John Gross Realty Appraiser, and J, Supervisor Patrick Vecchio's execution amendment of the collective bargaining agreement. Vinny, could you call the roll on everything but H? And call H separate.
Okay. Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Okay, number H. Councilwoman Noack.
Abstain.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
And Supervisor Vecchio.
Abstain.
Okay.
Item number 4, the town board is to do study and deliberation of subject record to issue secret negative declaration of termination of non-significance in the following matters as per stated as per 8 6A, application for site plan approval of Burger Station LLC.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Item number 5, LWRP, the town board issue written consistent determination pursuant to chapter 151. The code number 14-01, Allen String is not consistent with LWRP as stated as March 4, 2014 memorandum of planning directed. Mr. Supervisor, I move to table that.
Second.
Okay, Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Item number 6, the town board to authorize the controller to execute the following as per 6A through G of the agenda: increase in account, increase in account, increase in account, transfer, F transfer, and G increase in account. Could you call the roll on everything except for E, please?
Okay, Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
I'll move to,
Yes.
We're calling everything except for E.
You may
oh, yes.
Okay, now on E. Councilwoman Noack?
table.
Table, motion. Yes to-
Second.
Yes to table.
What's that?
Yes to table.
I'm seconding that motion.
Oh, you're going to table it. Okay, Supervisor Vecchio?
No, it's
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
And Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
All to table.
Yes. Number 7, the town board to authorize the supervisor to execute the following on form approved by the town attorney as per 7A through F: software license agreement with Suffolk County Youth Bureau, agreement with the town of Huntington and the town of Brookhaven, disposal of ash. D, specialized service agreement with body and brain training for the recreation department. E, agreement with New York State DOT, and F, agreement with Greenman Peterson to provide on-call professional services.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
yes.
Item number 8, the town board to authorize the release of the following as per 8A, B, C, D: performance bond, a cashier's check, People's United Bank passbook, and controller to release cash deposit.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Item number 9, the town board to approve the following personnel matters: seasonal appointment, full-time provisional, leave of absence, full-time provisional appointment, permanent appointment, full-time appointment, and full-time provisional appointment.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes on all except J, no on J.
Okay.
Traffic, number 10, the town board to authorize the amendments of the Uniform Traffic Code and authorize the Traffic Safety Department to install and maintain necessary signs. It's for 10A, Schedule J, parking, standing, and stopping.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Now we have one read-on, bid number 14-030, tree services. Bid number 14-30, tree services, returnable April 10th, 2014. It's an annual contract for tree services, removal, pruning, stump grinding, etc. Funding from B Fund 8731.0499.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes. Wishing to be heard, Mr. Thompson? Robert Thompson, please. Yes.
I just want to thank the board for having taken the initial step to get the elected officials back to where they belong. You get credit for that. And I hope tonight that you will do the right thing and move ahead as you have to continue on with the entire process. I was in mayor for 18 years, school board president for 4 years. A lot of trivial mistakes were made, but the people make a decision and their will should be done, and you're doing that. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Kevin Sconzo?
Hello, members of the board, Mr. Vecchio. My name is Kevin Sconzo. I live at 144 Montclair Avenue. I have a couple questions for the board concerning the collection of building materials that's going to happen down at the yard at the end of the block. and also about the 260 apartments with the 520 parking spaces that are going to go in. One thing I don't understand is if you're going to start taking building material, I understand it's 4 cents a pound, $80 a ton, but I don't understand what the town is getting out of that, because for the town to, say if I was going to drop stuff off there, for the town would have to pay somebody to sit in a payloader, lift it up into a tractor trailer or a 10-wheel dump truck, and truck it to the Kings Park. How much is it costing per hour to pay that driver, the maintenance on the vehicles, and the fuel, as it's opposed to me just driving over to Kings Park, and it's not going to cost the town anything? So my question is, what's the town getting out of it by accepting landfill building materials at Montclair Avenue? The other question I have for you is about the apartments. Middle Country Road is already a nightmare in the morning and the afternoons and in the evenings. So with 520 more automobiles, which is what the parking lot is slated to hold, I want to know what's that going to do to the traffic, and how are you going to alleviate some of the traffic with all these extra vehicles? That's all I have.
Okay, are you referring to an application for that building?
Yes, I saw it in the
Okay, well,
Smithtown paper.
They're permitted to put an application in. A public hearing has to be held, and there are other ramifications from that. And we accept that application, and we will hear it. And I suggest that you monitor when we'll hear that, and you can come and be heard, and some of the questions you raised will be answered that night.
Okay, and what about the landfill as far as trucking it? Because I'm assuming that you're going to pick it up at the Montclair yard and take it over to the Kings Park yard?
Is that for demolition debris you're talking about?
Yes, demolition debris. The other thing would be is that, I know Mr. Barnett's not here tonight, but he talked about putting a scale down there. It's going to be about 3 feet high, because he told me personally that he wasn't sure how deep the footing is going to have to be because it's built on a landfill. Now, my request would be maybe put the scale in the back of the highway yard off of Middle Country Road, just inside the gate to the left. That's usually where they store leaves, and in this way they don't have to worry about putting foundations in and the ground settling due to the waste compacting.
Okay, well, I don't know what he told you, but I know that we're hiring a design specialist to put the various operations in the correct places. And so I don't know that there's a firm decision on where those scales are going. Maybe we'll get you one, and you can call me during the week, and I'll see if I can find that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Russell, James Russell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. First off, I'd like to say, before my allotted time starts, could we please, I just want to thank you, and a lot of my neighbors want to thank you for making the decision to remove the stump grinding from Montclair Avenue. I mean, it was really a thing that we really appreciate a lot. We thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
And number two, I just want to pass out some hand-drawn maps here.
When you leave them to me, yeah.
Thank you. Whoops. All right, my name is James Russell. I live at 145 Jackson Avenue South, St. James. What I put before you folks here is just a little hand-drawn map pertaining to the traffic problems we're having in the immediate area. Some of you may be familiar with it, others may not. You may not travel the roads the same way we do in this immediate area. The problem being that Montclair Avenue is quite congested, and Montclair is quite congested, and Arlington is more congested. And a lot of people are using those routes to go elsewhere in the community rather than taking Middle Country Road up to Lake Avenue, turning left and heading towards 25A. A lot of them are just cutting through Montclair Avenue, continuing through the back streets, and eventually exiting out onto 25A, hoping to get home a few minutes earlier or a few seconds earlier, and they're doing it day after day. As they pass the Senior Citizen Center, they can see up that hill the amount of traffic heading towards Lake Avenue, and they know it's going to be several minutes to get through that, so they cut through Montclair Avenue. Also, Arlington Avenue, if you look at the map I gave you on the right-hand side, it will show Montclair Avenue It'll show Nardi, Honda, Smithtown, Nissan, the Sunoco station, Volkswagen, Wendy's, and so on. And if you look at all the entrances and exits in that area to get in and out of establishments, it's quite a congested area. If you concentrate on Arlington Avenue, you can see that it's not a narrow street, but it's not a very wide street. It's an average width street. Now with that, you can see that all the parking for Nissan of Smithtown puts their employees parking out in the street. Reason being, their entire area is filled with stock. And they're more concerned about selling automobiles than being considerate to the fellow neighbors in the area. If you look at Nardi has a little parking area there for their employees, so they do not park on the street, and I thank them for that. As far as the area, you'll also see where it says car carriers. Those are the big transporters that transport cars to and from the dealerships. Now, they never pull in on the property of the dealerships. They stay in a road. Reason being, they can't get in and they can't get out. The properties are too congested with new product. So they tie up the roads. Trying to come in or out of Arlington Avenue onto Middle Country Road or vice versa, it's a nightmare. And this is all during the day as well. Now you take the evening hours when people are coming home in what we call rush hour, right? That road is impossible to get in and out of. If you look at the two traffic lights, one at the corner of Southern Boulevard and please just another few seconds.
Going,
Thank
keep
you.
going.
Southern Boulevard and Middle Country Road, and the other traffic light at Arlington and 25 and Middle Country Road. Excuse me. Those two lights, the timing has to be changed. What happens is a lot of traffic, and especially the evening hours, are coming home from the west. They're heading east. They'll come up to that traffic light. It turns amber. They know it's going to turn red. They'll scoot ahead to the next traffic light, which is approximately 60 feet in front of the first one at Arlington. Now what happens is the people coming out of Arlington Avenue, going to make a left-hand turn, they don't have a snowball's hell and chance to come out of there. No two ways about it. They may have 6, 8 cars lined up on Arlington Avenue. Maybe 2 get out before the light changes again. So between the car carriers and the parking by Nissan and those 2 traffic lights synchronized to go red at the same time, go green at the same time, these people haven't got a chance. So a lot of people are saying, the heck with that, I'm going to divert my way through Rutherford Street onto Montclair and try to work my way wherever I'm going. So those 2 streets are really, really going to take a hit. Now they want to put more housing in. I'm not pro or con on housing. What I'm concerned with is the amount of traffic that's going to increase in the area. And something has to be done to alleviate the present problem as well as the future problem. Ladies, gentlemen, I thank you.
Can I just ask you about the
Yes, Mr. Vecchio.
the light on Arlington Avenue and Southern Boulevard?
Yes.
You say those 2 lights need to be differently timed?
That would possibly help if you take the
Okay,
eastbound
well, let me
traffic.
interrupt you. So we can make a request to the state of New York to revisit those lights, because those signals are calibrated by the state of New York, because that's a
Okay.
New York State road. And one of us, or I'll make the call, and we'll see what they can do about that. They'll probably call you.
I
that
appreciate
okay?
that very much.
As far, I have no answer for you on at least I don't, on the parking of the vehicles on the road.
Well, Nardi parks their employees parking on their premises. Nissan does not. Nissan doesn't have the room. They want to save the little parking they have for customer service. See, so what ends up happening is the people take the brunt of it. Instead of saying, hey, now you can go out right here to Terry Road between Middle Country Road and 347. There's several little stores in there. Maureen's Kitchen, little developments of stores and everything. Nobody parks in the street there, not a soul. And that street is wider than Arlington Avenue. There's a little area that says no parking on Arlington Avenue just before Middle Country Road, which takes in maybe 3 car lanes. After that, all the employees park along that one side. So cars coming in and cars going out at the same time, one has to sit and wait for the others to come through, especially when those car carriers are there. And how many times lately have I seen the car carriers come straight up Arlington, make a left-hand turn onto Rutherford, make another left on Montclair to get back out because they can't turn around. There's no place to turn around.
So at employee parking, there was no place on those sites for employee parking?
Pardon me?
The cars that are on the road, are those employee parking?
Yeah.
And on the sites there is no parking for, then no room for them?
Right, there's no room for them because they're filled up with stock and they want to keep a little bit of parking there for potential customers. So for that one area, which is, I think, Precision Auto Body, they try to park up in their area. But all the workers, I've seen it morning after morning, pull up, park their car on Arlington Avenue, and go right into the office. Because they're told not to park on the property. We need that property for customers.
Okay,
So it creates
after
a-
the meeting, could you give me your phone number, because I will call the,
Surely, it's on the bottom right there.
this is for the timing of the lights.
That you
They
can
will
use.
contact you.
Correct.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Vecchio. Thank you.
Hank Carlson?
Thank you, I'll pass.
Thank you. I can put it in. Toby Carlson?
Excuse me, Mr. Vecchio and board, may I just present one picture one of my neighbors
Oh,
just gave
sure,
me here
please,
for
please.
Arlington?
I think you should catch it. Yeah. It is what it is.
Supervisor Vecchio, members of the board, I'm Toby Carlson, 140 Old Northport Road, Kings Park, New York, Carlson Associates. First of all, let me thank you guys for the time you spent considering putting together a task force to address the issues on Old Northport Road. Ultimately, I don't know what the end of that, but I do appreciate the effort on behalf of the board. I just want to tell you guys how important it is for me to see the issues on Old Northport Road once and for all resolved. And I have a dream, and I've always had a dream for the area that it will be a benefit to the community and it will flourish and be a place that we can all be proud of, much like Hop Hog, albeit it is a little different in its nature. But there's a lot of people here tonight that have come out because they read the papers and they see what's going on, and a lot of them work for me, and a lot of them are landowners, and they're really keeping an eye on what you guys are doing as the leaders of our community. And I just have to say that we want to, as a group, we want to do better, and we want to work with the town and the civic groups to come up with a plan that's going to work. And we're counting on you guys as the leaders to hopefully put together a plan with planning, with all the tools that you guys have in DEW to come up with a good solution. There's probably about 30 people in the room that came here for me tonight, and I asked them to come because it's important, and it's important for our future and for our jobs. Those 30 people are just a small portion of what's really there down on Old Northport Road. There's hundreds of jobs, and there could be more if properly developed and properly planned. And so, you know, with all due respect, I would just ask you to keep up the good work and keep pushing on it, and maybe we can all come up with something that will work. And it doesn't need to be a Cold War anymore, and I think that we need to just put everything that we can into coming up with a good solution. And I appreciated everything you've done. I appreciate everybody coming out here tonight. And thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And
Thank you.
good night.
Larry Shaw?
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, good evening. The proceeding that the town has commenced against the Jeswali entities is scheduled to be submitted to Judge Martin on March 25th. I spoke to Martin Simon last week, and he assured me that the matter was indeed going to be submitted at that time. I am here tonight to reiterate just how important that is. This matter has been adjourned from July 10th, 7 different times up until March 25th. I think it's high time for this proceeding to be considered by Judge Martin and for him to rule on whether the town's request for a permanent injunction should be granted. The noise is escalating. The times at which the noise is occurring is escalating. And if the illegal landowners that are using this land were really worried about the effect it had on the adjacent residents, I don't think we would have as much trouble as we do. I just told Toby Carlson, talking about how some of these landowners would like to work with the residents, but in reality, I'm not seeing any of that. Instead, what I'm seeing is continuous noise, continuous diesel smell at all hours of the night at 6:30 in the morning on Saturdays. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, and I've been coming here for month after month after month, and I apologize for doing that, but I don't feel like I have any choice. So what I would like to ask is that this proceeding be finally heard on March 25th as currently scheduled, so that the town attorney, as he told me last week, does not consent to any further adjournments. There doesn't seem to be any reason for any more adjournments, and I think, as I said before, enough is enough. I calculated it. I pay $1,400 every month in real estate taxes. There are some people perhaps who pay $1,400 a month in real estate taxes, in principal and interest, and in homeowners insurance. I think considering how much I pay each month, I should be able to get, my neighbors should be able to get, my task force should be able to get some peace and quiet. There was an article in, I believe it was the Times a few weeks ago, talking about the biggest complaint New York City, Manhattan dwellers face, and it's the first thing that they complain about is noise. People move to places like Smithtown to have peace and quiet. Right now, my neighbors, me, my family, we have no peace and quiet. If the landowners who are using their land illegally really want to make a difference, I suggest that right now they start complying with the current zoning and then worry about what can be done in the future to allow them to earn a living.
Thank you. Bob Novak. Is there a Bob Novak here? Well, I don't think so. That's what we came down for. On Echo Cottage, I don't know anything about that. Okay.
So I get information for Echo Cottage.
Well, you'll wait till there's an Echo Cottage. I never heard of it.
Okay.
Okay?
How do we get on the agenda? So we called last week and they told us to come down.
Well, wait. Why don't you go to the microphone because it has to be recorded.
Okay.
You can make a 3-minute presentation.
Yeah. You might want to explain what Echo Cottages is, and have you have an application in our planning department?
No, we called last week because we have a gentleman here who called my office last week about placing an Echo Cottage in his backyard for his elderly parent. And I called your planning department and asked about it, and they told me to call and get on the agenda for tonight on a workshop.
Okay, you can proceed, but we're all in the dark about what we're talking about.
Okay,
here.
that's normally when I go to a town board, we get on a workshop meeting and we present what an Echo Cottage is.
I see.
And that's what I thought we were doing. We come down here for. We have a presentation for you. We have a slideshow. We have.
How far up is Hopewell Junction?
We're about 2.5 hours north of here.
So you have to come back again.
You have to, or we
Well,
can
I
wait.
really suggest that you call the planning department and ask them how you put an application in, or if it's a discussion you want to have to make an appointment.
Yes, we want to have a discussion.
Okay, well, I would suggest you give that a call tomorrow, and
Okay.
okay?
Can I leave you some information on our
Yeah,
Echo
you can
Cottage?
leave that with us if you'd like.
Sure. Or we can wait till the end if you want to.
What's that?
Or we could just wait till everybody else is done and I could do my presentation for you.
No, we don't do it that way. That's not the way it works. It's
Sorry,
best that you make your presentation You have to ascertain the zoning of where you intend to put this stuff, and you need to do a more formalized application. Okay? Thank you so much. That concludes those who wish to speak. I'll move to close the meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman Creighton,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.